Oh, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm gonna go for a drive. So, let's talk about what's going on today. Let's talk about what's going on with everyone today. There are definitely some challenges when you're an outdoor YouTuber, and basically all of the state parks and everything else are starting to close down or have been for a little while. It's just, it makes things kind of difficult. I mean, you guys have seen I've done a couple of videos from inside my garage and stuff. Yeah, so I'm doing my best. I'm making the most of a bad situation. So, what do I think of this? What do I think of all this mess? I think that a lot of it's bullshit, to be completely honest with you. The normal flu, like the one that comes around every year, its mortality rate is a lot higher than this, but everybody's freaking out. I don't understand that. I don't understand why they made such a big deal out of something. I mean, I understand, yes, people have died from this, alright? But people die of the flu every year. Now, while we talk about people dying of this, let's talk about why are they taking people who have passed away. Okay, so let's say Grandpa passed away of a heart attack, but he also tested positive for COVID-19. Now all of a sudden, instead of Grandpa's death being rolled as a heart attack, Grandpa died of COVID-19. So we're going to add that to the statistics and further push the fear-mongering. I don't get it. And I see a lot of people wearing masks and stuff, and that's fine. I mean, more power to you if you choose to. But the CDC and that joke of a World Health Organization both went on record as saying you'd only need the mask if you're one, medical professional, or two, you've already tested positive for the virus. I mean, the mask really doesn't do too much to keep you from getting it, but if you've got it, or you're carrying it, or you've been exposed to it, it'll keep you from spreading it. So anytime I see somebody wearing a mask, it automatically pops up in my head like, hey, I wonder if they have it, or if they're just wearing one. I mean, it's like I said, to each their own, better safe than sorry, but I mean, this thing has been detrimental to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Like, nobody I know personally who's directly related to me has been sick. Nobody I know has tested positive for COVID-19. Now, there's people through proxy, like I know this person who knows this person who knows a person who got it. But at the same time, is that all that person has? Did that person go in for a routine, checkup? Just find out they have a cold and then bam, you get smacked with COVID? I mean, there's really nothing you could do to say, well, yeah, I've got it, no, I don't, because the symptoms are the exact same as the flu. So you could have a run-of-the-mill flu, but they're going to chalk it up to you having the coronavirus just to further push their little agenda or whatever plan that they have in place to keep us all locked up in the house for so long. And that's another thing I don't understand. Like, these people who you see your neighbors out in their yard doing stuff, or they've got family coming over, mind your business. How's that? How about you mind your business? Leave them alone. You same people who are sitting there saying, oh, well, police, my neighbor's got 11 or more family members over and they're having a party in the backyard, blah blah blah. You're the same people who would have turned in the Jews during the Holocaust. But the sad part about that is a good majority of you don't even know about the Holocaust because they're not teaching that in school anymore. It's like we're doomed to repeat it if we don't learn about it. That boggles my mind. I mean, hopefully that changes, but the last time I talked to any of my kids, they're not learning about it in school. Something else that bugs me about all this is one thing that's come up because of all of this is human greed, man. Like, I couldn't believe that. Like, me and my family, we were out of state when all the lockdown started. We were about to head home. We were like, okay, we'll just wait a couple more days, see how this progresses. while I was out of state, all those stores out there, toilet paper gone. Why toilet paper? Of all things, why toilet paper? Why not anything that's going to help you sustain life? Okay, toilet paper, that was the big grab for everybody. Hey, let's make sure we don't run out of toilet paper. Like, that boggles my mind, and it doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like it was planted, like, hey, we're going to go ahead and tell everybody and report these empty shelves and everything and say, oh, you know, we're all running out of toilet paper. That way, we turn around and we buy more toilet paper. So I don't understand it. Like, are people literally crapping all over themselves? Like, last I checked, this didn't, you know, it didn't cause uncontrollable bowel movements. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't understand why that was the go-to thing. The first things I started buying, water filtration stuff, a seed bank, things like that. Stuff that's like, okay, well, if there is a complete and utter economic collapse, at least I can grow some food. You know, I'm really proud of everybody that went out and decided that they were going to buy a firearm. Like, most of them went out and panic bought just because, you know, they were worried somebody was going to come kicking down their door. Other people went out and bought firearms because they were like, well, if the grocery store doesn't have meat anymore, I'm going to go find my own. That's the mentality that more people should have. Like, hey, I need to take care of myself when all this goes down. I'm not going to sit there and wait for Uncle Sam to crank out another check, because before long, if we did have a complete and utter economic collapse, how long do you think you'd be able to contact those types of services? Huh? How long do you think that the government's going to be right there patting you on the back like it's going to be okay? You know, all the money that the government has comes from us, and eventually we run out of money. You know what that means? They run out of money. And that's another sickening twist on life, is that for some reason or another we've put the power, like we've given servants the power to dictate and control our lives. And I don't, for the life of me, like, I don't understand, like, when did that culture start? Do people not understand that Congress works for the people, that the president works for the people, that the Senate works for the people? Like, your state and local officials, they work for you. But for some reason or another, everybody's like, well, leaders, right? They're not leaders. Like, did y'all watch too many sci-fi movies? See the aliens saying, hey, take me to your leader? Because Americans, we're our own leaders. We don't have a boss. That's why we are the greatest country in the world. We're not dictated to by anybody. But the more we keep letting these little liberties slip around because of this coronavirus, the closer we're going to get to a tyrannical overlord, right? I know it's a crazy term, but that's essentially what they are. I mean, you look at North Korea and Kim Jong-un, he is a tyrant. He legitimately runs that country like he's in charge of everything. Then that's the way that things have been molded and shaped. That's their government system. He's the boss. What he says goes. Now, I, for one, as an American, no. I say what goes. I mean, I make my rules. I do what I feel is best for me, my family, and my pursuit of happiness, and I leave the rest of y'all alone. I wish that we could get back to those roots and values. I mean, I wish that this was still the country that was laid out for us, but instead we have this bastardized version of how much control will we let them take, right? It's like all these stupid, unnecessary gun laws. Like, I feel bad for California. If you're watching this from California, I feel bad for you. Now, my home state of Virginia, where I was born, they've got their own problems right now with their stupid governor out there. This moron thinks that he's just going to turn around and undo our Constitution piece by piece. He even used the coronavirus as some sort of smokescreen so he could turn around and sign stuff into law in the guise of him helping out. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that is the shadiest, underhanded shit that I have ever seen. And just like we have these Democrats in Congress who are sitting here, oh, well, we're not going to do this. Well, we're not going to do this. But hey, let us rewrite the bills so that way they come out in our favor, look good for us, but on the surface, it looks good for the people of America. Well, if y'all would go and look deeper into those bills, you would come to find out that the amount of greed and stupidity that is within that document, it's completely ridiculous. So let's get back to this greed thing. So when all these people were hoarding toilet paper, I know that some of y'all probably saw reports of people, oh, Well, now this individual has to donate everything to charity because he turned around and tried to price gouge. That's karma, and that's a beautiful thing. There's still people out there who have gone out and hoarded and stockpiled all this crap that they know they don't need. They know they'll never use any of it, and they just want to turn around and sell it for a markup. I have a friend in the medical industry, and at work when all this came through, they had warned their superiors. They were like, hey, you know, maybe we should take all of the PPE out of these rooms. That way we negate it being stolen or taken or somebody running off with it. Well, her department listened. Another department was like, no, it's not gonna happen. Next day, right? All of her department's equipment was where it should be. All of the equipment from the department that said, no, that's not gonna happen, completely wiped out. Like, you go in there to get a checkup, you leave with enough masks and gloves to outfit you and damn near everybody you know for months at a time. I mean, that bothers me. Another thing that bothers me is I have another person that I grew up with. I mean, we didn't spend a lot of time together. We went to school. We had a couple classes together. They were a designer. They live out in a state where that's a big deal, and people do that stuff. Once all this happened, they volunteered their services, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing my thing. I'm gonna stop designing my thing and you know, working towards my passion. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna donate my time to making masks for people. So she went ahead and she made all these masks, tons of them, tons and tons and tons for like the last couple of months. That's all that's been posted on their social media. It's just masks, masks, masks. Saw a post recently. Now, mind you, these masks are donated. The time is donated. There's no money going their way. Somebody, at some point or another, got a hold of these masks that they were making. And now they're turning around and selling them on I think it was like Facebook Marketplace or something. Like, people are turning around and stealing shit to sell it, and like, they're taking advantage of the panic that everybody's going through. It doesn't make sense to me. And this whole thing just seems like it's just a giant blanket that's meant to cover up something else that's going on. It's like all you people who are rooting for socialism, like, this is basically a test run. I mean, we're all sitting around. I mean, luckily I'm still able to go to work every day. I work in an essential field, but even us, we're getting hit hard. Like, the company's offering furlough, so they don't have to end up laying people off. And you know, like, it seems to me like all of this, it's boiling down to something. Like, it's trickling into something. Like, there's no reason for all this panic. There's no reason for people to be locked up in their houses like this. I mean, I've got a big family. If you saw the hiking history about myself, like, you understand, I've got big family. None of us have gotten sick. None of us have even so much as gotten a slight cough or anything. Like, it's just trying to get this to make sense. It doesn't. Like, why all this panic over something that's no more deadly than the common flu? Like, it boggles my mind, and it makes me think that there's more going on. And as the rest of y'all sit there and you're like, yeah, I want to stay home. Yeah, I want to do this. And that's, you're systematically chipping away at your own civil liberty. I for one, as a free, God-fearing American man, like, no, that's not where I was born, you know? Like, for me, I won the geographical lottery, all right? I was born in the United States of America. We are the freest, the most abundant country in the world. And I see my countrymen sitting around begging to have their rights taken away. It's all you the people out there who are sitting there begging for gun control. I can't stand any of you. So, I guess that the moral of all this is there's no amount of safety and security that is worth your freedoms and your liberty, okay? There's a lot more to this coronavirus than what they're telling us. Clearly, China knew what was going on long before any of us did. They were the first country to contract it, and they were the first country to bring these big giant foggers out into their city. Have any of you seen this anywhere else? I don't think so. They want to sit here and say like, oh, you know, it wasn't a biological weapon. We were just making sure that we could still contend in this, you know, genetically modified virus battleground, I guess. Whatever stupid reason they had for it. And it just, you can't help but think something else is going on. I mean, anybody else notice that this outbreak happened right at like the peak of China's protests, and therefore justifying them ripping people out of their homes and isolating people and quarantining people? Then who wants to venture to guess that a lot of their body count had nothing to do with the virus? Who wants to venture to guess that their body count is probably so steep because they got rid of the hugest proponents in their protest? I don't know. It seems to me like all of us should watch our backs. Pay close attention to what's going on around you. If you prefer a certain news outlet, watch that news outlet. Watch one that you're not familiar with, and then watch the one that you can't stand. That's what I do. I'll watch some media that I, for the most part, have seen to be truthful, or I will watch some non-biased, you know, network, as few and far between as those are. And also I'll watch media from outlets that are completely skewed to my way of thinking, just so I can put all three of these together and come up with my own solutions, my own conclusions as to what I think's really going on. I care about each and every one of you. I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily know everybody who's watching this, but I do. I care about my fellow man. I have a distaste for people and the way that humanity has shifted to this whole gimme, 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 selfish, nobody cares about anybody, childish pettiness, I'm going to do anything I can to get over on the next person. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. At the end of the day, we all deserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Be careful out there, okay? Look out for your family. Look out for your friends. Take care of yourself. If you can't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of those who are around. I could sit here all day and talk with y'all and let the gas run out of my truck, but I have to get to work tomorrow. So, as always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for joining me on this drive, and as always, come outside. I'll be here. We gotta turn off the music because copyright infringement.